Besides sending the police, you might want to send an ambulance or a hearse.
Hello, Billy Ho here, coming at you with the 2023 Honda Classic Picks and Preview Show. And we're going to do 5 things, and I'm going to keep pounding on this. Hopefully, you guys help me out. And its first thing is hit that subscribe button. Number 2, smash the like. Number 3, check out the preview article, 100% free. I leave the links everywhere. You can find it. Number 4, DraftKings contest. Links are everywhere. You can find it. We got 49. All we need is one more person to join and we'll fill it. I just want to get comfortable about filling that contest every week to where I just put it out there and I just let it go. I don't worry about, of course, I didn't send any invites this week and got to 49. So normally I'll go through and I'll just toss out some rando invites to try to get it full, but I don't want to do that anymore. Okay. 5 is the Discord. The link will be in the description. We always need some new people out there. We got a couple of new guys. One guy's been hanging out for a couple of weeks. I think he likes it. He's been input very good information and asking good questions and just overall really glad to have him aboard. So we are going to get into the Honda Classic, but I just wanted to recap what's going on right now in the Genesis Invitational at about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rahm is hanging on to the lead by just a shot or two. And I don't know. He had a 3-shot lead, and then all of a sudden there was a 2-shot swing. So it's going to be interesting finish, I would say. So hopefully, anyway. But what I want to address, with all period jokes aside, it was a quite eventful Genesis. We saw Tiger get out there out driving the young guns, and Rahm trying to get her done for the 3rd time this season. The gag that Tiger played on JT, we all saw it went viral, and he outdrives him. And I watched him play. Tiger outdrove both of them, him and Rory especially, more than once. And I think he was just, his good friend JT. They live in the same neighborhood. They play golf all the time. They're good friends. And he's walking down there after he outdrives him, and he kind of slips him this, you can't really tell. And JT looks at it and throws it on the ground. And shout out to the cameraman who caught it. But it was like a little empty tampon container, and it said Tampax on it. And he's just ribbing him on outdriving him. Calling him, what guys call their fellow mates out on the golf course when they do stuff like that. And people can say what they want about it, but it's just a joke between friends. It's a guy joke. Get over it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I think most women out there on Twitterverse, anyway, that I know that are following golf, didn't really make that big a deal out of it either. So it's just really the left wing social justice warrior type people that really take that shit real seriously. So anyway, the Honda Classic will kick off the Florida Swing, and it is in its last year of sponsorship from the longtime American Honda Corporation. It's pretty wild. It's not. It's going to be maybe moved next year. They want to get it to an elevated event, so I guess getting a new sponsor might help them do that. But purse is only 8.4 million and 144 players. So you are going to see a bit of a downtick in the top dogs that we've gotten in the last couple of weeks. We've been a little bit spoiled with the elevated events, but this one's still going to be good. We're still going to have some guys to talk about, and I'm going to show you a few things with the article and the cheat sheets and Rick Run good stuff. And so let's get it started. And PGA National, I'm starting out on the bear trap here. It's really cool. Really, really great view. PGA National is Jack Nicklaus renovated course. He's not the actual designer. I think it's a Fazio design. But he has renovated it like 4 times. Latest in 2019 when they redid all the greens, which they're not going to be as firm as fast as they were in the first couple of years of play, but they still are firm and fast greens for being in Florida and all that good stuff. So it's a 7,125 yard par 70. The fairways are pretty narrow, as you can see. water everywhere, as you can also see. And there are 15 holes with water in play, 2.5-inch rough, overseeded Bermuda, 7,000 square feet greens, Tiff Eagle Bermuda. They're beautiful. And hole 17 is the leg 2 of the bear trap, and you can see the water flowing. And if the wind kicks in, which it can, and we'll discuss that in a minute. Hole 18 is a par 5 finishing hole. Look at all that water, so beautiful. I wish I could go to this tournament one day. Palm Beach Gardens is located close enough to the Atlantic that wind will very much play a factor in the already difficult track. So 60 bunkers, fairway landing zones, and guarding the greens. And you got to hold down on these par threes in order to make the cut, because you can really throw your week away if you start finding the water multiple times, as we can see. So let's cut over to the weather and take a look at that. All right. And this is just obviously too far ahead to be making any judgments on the weather, but you can see we're in Florida now, so it's going to be sunny skies and beautiful breezy days, 84 degrees high. So it's going to be nice and warm and probably on the humid side. We all know that, but you can see what the wind is doing leading up into it. It's kind of building up a little bit, and then it spikes. And I believe that's Wednesday. This is Thursday, and this is Friday. So there's afternoon spikes Saturday, Sunday, and it's going to go one way or the other. But if it starts getting up into the 15-mile-an-hour zone, then that's when we'll start looking at maybe doing some AM PM stacks. I think I'm probably just going to experiment with just playing Thursday AM guys and see how that works out. We'll see who, and it will depend on where the tee times land. So, but that's a look at your weather. And here's the article, by the way. And this is just a work in progress. It's just starting. The Honda Classic picks and previews. There's our infamous handoff in the in the previous tournament. So just fanning down here a little bit. I got the weather set up. And of course, this is where it cuts off right there. So we will look no further. And here's a Rick Run Goods cheat sheet. Shout out to my man, Rick. I'm glad you were able to get this loaded in for me. So anyway, on the strategy, before we get into talking players, we are going to talk key stats. And this is what he's got listed for key stats. And I'm popping up on the board on your screen if you're watching on YouTube. Just some key stats that I came up with, and some I clipped from Fantasy National from last year, and they hold true. But most of the time, it's going to be keeping it in play, obviously, scrambling, sand saves, putting, all that kind of short game stuff, par threes, handling that, holding it down, putting from 6 feet. You can see all this inside of 15-foot putting is crucial this week. So that's more crucial than anything else. The accuracy rate is down, but tee to green is where it's at. Complete. That's what we're looking for in strategy. Complete tee to green players. The best in that category is usually the winner going back several years. Number 1 or 2 tee to green is usually your winner. Obviously, strokes gained approach and accuracy off the tee, obviously, but distance off the tee. I'm going to start employing that more. Overall driving, the best drivers of the golf ball, almost any tournament from now on out, I'm really going to give a hard look at, because you see who's up on the leaderboards. Your Max Homas, your John Rahms, all these guys winning golf tournaments. They just pound the ball off the tee and they're in play, and the first step is complete, and then anybody can get the irons going and putt. So, if you get stage 1 out of the way, then you're giving yourself a chance, and distance does always matter. So, all that aside, getting into some players, and I just kind of really gone through, and I've sorted this by projected points. Eric Van Rooyen projecting out That's kind of crazy. Eric Van Ruin is what a lot of people like to call him. He ruins your lineups, but sometimes he pops. Sixth at Amex. He does have a cut made, but he is wild with the driver, although his accuracy rate seems to be up. I thought he was more toward 50%, and he's not that long, 295, but it does depend on the tournaments you're playing and what the stats are. So, because if you're clubbing down, and that's the thing, is a lot of people will club down because these are dog legs and you're trying to avoid water. So you're going to see people hitting irons off the tee and then taking advantage of distance when they can. So I think and I think that's why Sungjae thrives. He's going to be my top choice just right off the top of my head because he's playing really well coming in. The Farmers, 6th, 18th at Amex, 6th at Phoenix. This week at Genesis, of course, I do not like him at. He is struggling right around, but he made the cut. And I think he had a 33rd last year, and this year he's going to be about 40th. And that's, I'm okay with that. I deeper dive. I'll see if he's really wonked out. But he likes putting. He prefers Bermuda, first of all. So that always helps. And he's won here, which always helps. And then he backed it up with the following year. And he did miss the cut last year, but I looked it up and he just got off to an atrocious start, a couple of bad holes, and shot a 74 on Thursday. Then he came back and shot even par 70, was not good enough to make the +2 cut. It happens to everybody, especially on a super difficult track. Guys can miss cuts. And you'll go through here and you'll see like the 35th and 13th, and then Aaron Wise missed the cut last year. You got top 30s, then a missed cut from Patrick Rogers. It happens to everybody. So this is not an order that I'm down with, but this is just a projected points order since we don't have salaries. But Wise, if you want to call this a quasi coastal course, Aaron Wise is down. He crushes it off the tee, pretty accurate. I will probably be having some interest in him this week. And I jotted down a few more names. The Shane Lowry looking pretty good. He had a second place finish here last year. He's way down here on the projected points, so it's going to be hard to sift through and find these guys when I need them. But I just off of memory, second place last year, playing quite well. He got it getting his groove on. He was not good at Phoenix, but that was his first tournament coming over. Normally he starts his season in Florida, so he's getting a jump on it. Maybe he wants to get some form in over here and be ready to try to win this Honda. So I will have some interest in Shane. Denny McCarthy, always good here. He's got some top finishes, best putter in the world. He prefers Bermuda too. And he's having a hell of a week at Genesis. And that is a course I would not think he'd be suited for. But his ball striking is really coming around. He's starting to be in a slight plus column off the tee and holding his own on approach. I saw him make a really, really good approach shot where he used the backstop and rolled it all the way down to the cup. And so I'm definitely interested in Denny. Sam Ryder seems to be in good form right now. And he should be up here toward the top. There's Sam. 2 back-to-back top 10s here. And he's got a top 5 finish, which we know he almost won Farmers. Then he came back and did it again at Phoenix. So he's in good form, and that's usually scary for Sam. But we shall see. I'll definitely give him a look. Pricing is going to dictate a lot of this, where the ownership falls, because Sam Ryder's normally like a $7K, $6,800 golfer in most every tournament, and he's liable to be $7,800 in this due to the recent form and course history. He might even be over $8K. I don't know. I'm not really sure what DraftKings is doing with their pricing recently, because they won't price anybody over 11,000. You can flat guarantee you that. Sungjae will be 10.8, and that might be the highest it goes. But we also have Adam Svensson, who's having a hell of a week, a guy that's not long off the tee, but he seems to be getting the short game in order. He's looking really good at Genesis. Hayden Buckley missed the cut at Genesis, but he's a guy that slams it off the tee and is pretty accurate. So I will be interested in him. And he has, even though he missed the cut last year, he has seen this course twice. So I'm going to give him a whirl, I do believe. Will Gordon. After after having like a pretty good run to start the year uh, at the Sony, and then he's just missed 3 straight cuts like Will Gordon can do. He bombs it off the tee. I might give him a look. He does have a made cut. Batia, he's not long off the tee, but he hits a hell of a lot of greens. So I might have to give him a shake. He'll be a guy in the 6,700 range, no doubt. A couple other guys before I get out of here. Chris Kirk, who's been playing really well. This course is a great fit for him, and he had back-to-back top fives, Amex and Sony, and he's got back-to-back cuts here with a 7th last year. So I'll give him some looks. Maybe Thomas Dietrich. He's really starting to look the part here, and we know the guy is, he's a kind of a coastal dude. He slams it off the tee, so I'm gonna be looking at some Dietrich. A couple other Billy Ho, obviously, my man Billy Ho. He's a Florida kid back in Florida, so he's been grinding it out on the West Coast. Lee Hodges looking good this week. Excuse me. And the last couple of guys, Johnny V, Johnny Vegas, long off the tee, and a guy that I'm really going to have a lot of interest in, and you probably get talked up, and that's one Taylor Pendrith. So that's a handful of guys to get you started, maybe help your research out. I'm not trying to tell you to play them. There's some guys that might begin my player pool. You got to start somewhere, right? Okay, that will do it for the Picks and Preview show. Appreciate you watching. Tell a friend, tell several friends, tell your grandma, give me some subs. Let's go. Till the next video, coming Tuesday, DraftKings show. We see you soon. Peace.